Now, when it comes to Claressa Shields and Papoose, this is not a hypothetical. This is not a screenshot somebody photoshopped at 3 in the morning. This is not your cousin's group chat going wild on a Tuesday afternoon. This is fully real, fully recorded, fully on the internet, and what you are about to hear may be one of the most self-destructive public defenses of a man we have ever seen come out of a champion's mouth in the entire history of live streaming. And if you are ready to walk into the most disrespectful, math-defying, eviction-leaking, Chanel-multiplying, baby-announcing press conference a two-time Olympic gold medalist has ever filmed, then buckle in, lock the door, mute the kids, because we are about to count the receipts together, and I promise you the numbers do not add up, the names do not line up, the timeline is held together with duct tape and a prayer, and cheeseburger Pap, my brother, you still cannot sit next to me at any game. In any arena, in any city, in any solar system, in any league, on any planet. We still don't trust him. We never will. Continue, champ. And before we get 1 inch deeper into the swamp, I need to tell you straight up, because the I Love Pap fan club is already warming up their typing fingers, already cracking their knuckles, already opening 15 burner accounts to flood these comments and tell me I just don't understand love, and since they're about to come for my neck for simply doing the math out loud, I need every single one of you to leave a like, hit that subscribe, hype this video up, and really, truly, deeply make sure you double tap that like button, because we are going to need every single thumb to hold the line against the Papoose defense squad. I have never needed you more than right now. So, here is the situation, and I am going to lay it all out flat, like a poker hand on the table, because the only way through this mess is one card at a time. Claressa Shields, 3-division world champion, 2-time undisputed, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, the woman they actually gave a street to in Flint, Michigan, decided to log on to her phone and defend her not-quite husband, not-quite boyfriend, not-quite divorced man, Papoose, against a very specific accusation. The accusation, in case you have been off the internet for 5 minutes, came from Nita Goat, also known as Nigeria, the former best friend who, according to Champ herself, is reportedly facing an eviction date on June 12th. Like this is a court-ordered episode of I Fix My Life, the championship edition. Nita Goat said, in plain English, with screenshots, with receipts, with the energy of somebody who has been holding it in for months, that a Chanel purse Papoose bought for Claressa disappeared. Not got misplaced. Not slid behind the dresser. Not fell behind the bed. Disappeared. Poof. Gone like LeBron throwing chalk in the air before tip-off. And in the original allegation, the suggestion was simple, direct, nasty, and specific. Cheeseburger Pap allegedly snatched it and allegedly pawned it. That is the seed. That is where the entire kingdom of nonsense was planted. And instead of letting that allegation die in the comment section like every other piece of internet drama, instead of touching grass, instead of going to a single boxing practice or filming a commercial for the new honorary Claressa Shields street in Flint, Champ decided no, today is the day I clear my man's name in public. Today is the day I respond on camera, on the record, on a live stream with witnesses. And not only am I going to respond, I am going to leak my own friend's eviction date in the same breath, diagnose her with 2 separate mental illnesses I have no medical license to diagnose, and then casually slide in a multi-million-dollar deal and a baby announcement, because if I am going down, the whole block is coming down with me. Big Key's voice, Keys against the world. This is the most self-inflicted L I have witnessed in real time on this channel, and I have seen a lot of self-inflicted LS. Now let's actually look at the structure of what Champ said, because remember, the original story was simple. The purse went missing recently. Pap is the suspect. End of paragraph. That was the table everybody was eating off. But Claressa walks up to that table, flips it over, sets it on fire, pours gasoline on the ashes, and goes, actually, the purse has been missing for 1.5 years. A year. And a half. And the whole internet went silent for a second, because hold on, Champ, you mean to tell me a Chanel purse worth thousands of dollars, gifted to you by your man, has been unaccounted for in your house for 18 months, and you only now remembered it? Where's the police report? Where's the panic? Where's the moment you tore the closet apart at 2 in the morning like a normal person? You didn't mention it on a podcast. You didn't post about it on a story. You didn't ask the group chat. You didn't put up a flyer. 18 months of nothing, but the second your ex-best friend opens her mouth on the internet, suddenly the timeline appears like a magic trick, and we are all supposed to nod along like that is reasonable adult behavior. We have never seen somebody this down bad in a defense statement, and we are nowhere near the worst part yet. Because then Champ pivots, and watch how smooth this pivot is. She doesn't just say the purse went missing. She says, and I am paraphrasing the energy of it, now that I think about it, I think you stole it, Nigeria. You. The friend. The same friend she just took out of the country on what was reportedly Claressa's dime. The friend she said was around the house when Claressa wasn't there. That is the new theory. Forget cheeseburger pap. Forget the pawn shop. Forget the original allegation. The new villain in this rewrite is the same woman who, according to Claressa's own live stream, is allegedly about to get evicted on June 12th, with sheriffs, plural, like there is going to be a step and repeat outside the apartment. Like the eviction has a guest list and a sponsor. Make it make sense, Champ. You cannot be a sweet Andy to Little Muffin one paragraph and the landlord from a horror movie the next paragraph. You said Muffin is so sweet you don't even want to whoop her, and then in the next breath you put her family's eviction date on a public timeline for the whole internet to bookmark. That is not love. That is a hit job with a smile on it. That is concerned trolling in a custom dress. We still don't trust the man, we still don't trust the framing, and we definitely don't trust the timeline. And oh, do I have more for you? Because the I Love Pap fans are going to absolutely hate this next part, so if you are still with me, hit that like button one more time, because we're about to walk into the part of the story where the math becomes physically impossible. Pause your snack. Mute your kids. Focus up. Because here is where it goes from messy to mathematically impossible. Champ said the purse went missing a year and a half ago. Then she said, after the purse went missing, she bought one that looked just like it so people wouldn't notice. Cool. We can roll with that for a second. But then, in the same defense, in the same breath, in the same live stream, she said, and after that, Pap bought her 3 or 4 more Chanel purses. 3 or 4 in a pack. Like cheeseburger, Pap walked into a Chanel boutique on a Saturday morning and said, hey listen, give me the family-size variety pack, the Costco bundle, the vacuum-sealed multi-pouch, the bulk wholesale energy. Because you have to understand how Chanel actually works, beloved. They do not sell purses in a 4-pack. They sell them one at a time, in a box, in a dust bag, with a card, with a story, with an appointment, with a waiting list, with a person in white gloves walking it out to you. You don't walk out the boutique like you just hit the snack aisle at the gas station with a 6-pack of mini Chanel under your arm. So either Pap is plugged in with a black market Chanel cartel none of us have ever heard of, or, and stay with me here, or the purses are not real, or the story is not real, or the math is not real, and we're about to find out which one. And while you pick which option is the truth, remember, this is the same Papoose who has been spotted with what looked like a pack of designer bucket hats from different brands. Gucci, Louis, Fendi, all sitting together like they decided to put aside decades of luxury rivalry, forget the runway shows, forget the bidding wars, and just collab for cheeseburger Pap like a goodie bag at a kid's birthday party. Get out of here. Get all the way out of here. That has never happened in the history of fashion, and it never will. And once you accept that the bucket hat math was already broken, suddenly the 3 or 4 purses in a pack story is not a flex. It is a confession that the receipts do not exist. The receipts have never existed, and the receipts are not coming. We got you in 4K, Champ. We got you in 4K, Pap. We got you in 4K, the whole defense. Now let's talk about loyalty for a second, because this is the part of Champ's speech that really made my beard itch, the part that made me put the headphones down and walk to the window. She said, at this point in my life, I don't let nobody play both sides of me. I had to rewind that. I had to clean my ears out. I had to check the captions. Because Champ, with all due respect, with all the medals on the shelf, with all the gloves in the case, the man you are defending was, as of widely reported coverage going into early 2026, still in the process of an unfinalized divorce from Remy Ma, who he reportedly filed against in May 2025. That is the public timeline. So you are dating a man whose marriage has not legally closed. Then you got the wife situation. Then you got the girlfriend situation, which is you, Champ, calling yourself the woman of his life. And then on top of all that, the rumor mill has had a third-party situation circling for a while. So this is not both sides. This is 3 sides. This is a triangle with a bonus corner. This is a quadrilateral of disrespect. This is a whole geometry textbook of disloyalty. The man's got his cake, his ice cream, and somebody on standby to lick the plate clean. So when you stand at the podium and announce that you do not let people play both sides of you while you are publicly dating a married man whose divorce is reportedly still pending, your 9-year clock isn't 9 years of a real relationship. The clock starts the day the marriage clock stops. That's the rules. Everybody knows that. You don't get backdated love. You don't get credit for overlap. You don't get to grandfather in the messy years. And speaking of credit, let's talk about that street. Because I cannot let this go, I will not let this go, I am losing sleep over this street. They gave Claressa Shields a literal street in Flint, Michigan. Spencer Street between Saginaw and MLK Boulevard, officially renamed Claressa Shields Street. Not a plaque. Not a key to the city. A whole road. With a sign. With cars driving on it. With pizza delivery using it on GPS. And listen, the woman is a real champion. I am not taking that away. She earned every single Olympic medal and every single belt she owns. But the audacity to drive down a street that bears your name while broadcasting another woman's eviction date on a live stream, that is wild work. That is the kind of energy you cannot fake. That is real, organic, homegrown villain energy, and I'm telling you, big keys against the world, that is the foundation this entire defense was built on top of. Now here is the question nobody is asking loud enough, and this is where the other commentary channels are completely asleep at the wheel, so lock in, because this is the connect the dots moment where the whole story unravels in a single breath. Why now? Why this exact week? Why is Claressa Shields, undisputed champion, woman with a street, suddenly online defending a purse story, leaking eviction dates, throwing around clinical diagnoses she has zero medical credentials to deliver, and casually announcing a multi-million-dollar deal and a 2026 baby plan in the same 15 minutes? Because here is the connect the dots, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Champ is leaking an eviction date, diagnosing her ex-best friend with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia on a public livestream, defending a man whose divorce isn't finalized, and announcing a major deal and reaffirming a baby plan with Papoose for 2026, all in the same stream. She is using the chaos as a press release. She is letting the friendship burn down so the spotlight stays on her long enough to announce a bag, and then she walks off camera like nothing happened. That is not a friendship breakup, beloved. That is a coordinated brand pivot wrapped in a friendship breakup costume. The purse story was the wrapping paper. The eviction was the bow. The diagnoses were the ribbon. And the real gift inside that box was the deal she just so happened to slide in at the end like a PS on the bottom of an email, like the small print at the end of a commercial. Crazy work. Insane work. Marketing work, actually. And honestly, hats off to the strategy. I see what you did. I just don't respect it. Now the second thing nobody is connecting, and stay locked in because this is where it gets dark. Claressa said she did not respond to Nita Goat's reported apology text because she wanted to see if Nita Goat would take down all the previous posts and publicly tell the truth about how Champ supposedly helped her, defended her, stood next to her while she was wrong. But Champ, that right there is the confession. You just admitted that for years you were standing next to your best friend while she was, in your words, publicly lying on other people. You said you would text her on the side and tell her she was wrong, but you would not say it in front of the camera. You would not say it on the podcast. You would not say it in the comments. So what you're really telling us is that for years, you were her co-signer in public and her critic in private. That is the definition of fake. That is the definition of two-faced. That is the definition of playing both sides. The exact same energy you just told the world you do not accept from anybody, you have been actively performing on camera for years, on rotation, on schedule. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I cannot hear you. Continue, Champ. And while we are connecting the dots, here is one more piece nobody's slowed down for. Champ mentioned, almost casually, that Nita Goat had at one point been positioned as a potential godmother because Claressa said she could not have kids. Then, in the same live stream, Claressa reaffirmed the 2026 baby plan with Papoose that has been reported across multiple outlets. So we are talking about purses, we are talking about evictions, we are talking about sheriffs, and you slide a baby plan in like it is a footnote? That is the third reveal in one stream. The purse defense was the headline. The deal was the closer. The baby was the bonus track. 3 news cycles, 1 live stream, 0 accountability. That is press conference architecture I have not seen in years. And then Champ said Nita Goat must be Superwoman because she has been crying every day since February, but still has the energy to make subliminals, songs, and diss tracks. Cool. But champ, you also went to the studio. You also recorded a track. You also dissed a married woman by name. So either you are calling Nita Goat Superwoman as an insult, or you are calling yourself Superwoman as a compliment, but you cannot have both. The hypocrisy is loud. The hypocrisy has its own street. And before we close this thing out for real, one more loose thread. Champ said she did not respond to the apology because she was in Aruba. Aruba. The whole vacation. The whole passport stamp. And she said it like a flex. But hold on, beloved. If you have the money, the time, and the access to be in Aruba while the internet drags your name, you have the resources to file a police report on a missing Chanel. You have the resources to hire a private investigator. You have the resources to do anything except remember where that purse went for 18 months. The Aruba detail does not make Champ look richer. It makes the story look thinner. The timeline got built backwards on camera in real time, and Aruba was supposed to be the receipt, but it ended up being the contradiction. Crazy work. Insane work. Frequent flyer work. Now before I let you out of here, I want to be very clear, very precise, very direct, because the I Love Pap fan club is about to roll into the comments with the cape on and the helmet locked. We are not saying Claressa Shields is not a great boxer. We are not saying she did not earn her medals, her belts, her undisputed status, or her honorary street in Flint. The woman is a real champion in the ring. Period. Locked in. Respect. What we are saying is that when you step outside the ring and you log onto a live stream and you decide to play prosecutor, defense attorney, judge, jury, landlord, doctor, and PR rep all at the same time, while defending a man whose divorce reportedly is not finalized, while leaking an eviction date, while diagnosing your former best friend, while announcing a deal, while reaffirming a baby plan, the gloves come off and the receipts come out and the math gets done. And the math is not matting. The story is not storying. The defense is not defending. And Cheeseburger Pap, my brother, you can sit anywhere you want at the Knicks game, but you absolutely cannot sit next to me. You cannot sit next to anybody with a purse. You cannot sit next to anybody who has ever owned a Chanel anything, a Gucci anything, or a Louis anything. We still don't trust you. We still don't trust the wife situation, the girlfriend situation, the divorce timeline, the eviction date, the godmother story, the diagnosis story, the surprise baby plan, the bucket hat pack, or honestly, at this point, the street either. So if you made it this far, you already know what to do. Smash that like button, leave a comment telling me which street I should apply for first, the K, the E, or the Y. Tell me which of those 3 or 4 Chanel purses you think actually exists, and let me know honestly. Would you sit next to Cheeseburger Pap at any game on any planet in any league? Because if you want to see how this whole I Love Pap chronicle truly started, how Nita Goat dropped the original receipts, how Remy Ma's bars somehow became courtroom evidence in a live stream, and how one missing handbag turned into a 3-news cycle press conference with a baby plan attached, well, you are absolutely not going to want to miss the next one. Check out the suggested video on your end screen right now, because we are not done, we are not even close to done, and the next chapter is somehow even crazier than the one you just sat through. We up out of here, worldwide, every single time zone. We still don't trust him. We never will. Continue, champ. Crazy work. Insane work. Streetlight.